A Pakistani soldier checks whether a man, Muslim or Hindu, is circumcised during the Bangladesh War of Independence, 1971. In the USSR during the 1970s, registry offices often drew large crowds of couples eager to formalize their unions. This photo captures a busy waiting room packed with brides and grooms. Vicky Kerr holding her Miss Vicky's chips in New Lowell, Ontario in the late 1980s. Marilyn Monroe. During the filming of Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, 1953. Police pose with captured Black Legion weapons and clothes. The Black Legion was a splinter organization from the KKK who thought the Klan wasn't violent or radical enough. Fyodor Andreevich Makhnov, 1878-1912, was a peasant from the Vitebsk province of the Russian Empire, who, according to its confirmed data, is the tallest man in the world with a height of 285 centimeters. Apollo 13 crew arrive on prime recovery ship USS Iwo Jima. In the 70s, teddy boys with their slim pants, pompadoured hair, and creeper shoes were a thing. Evacuation transport of field hospitals, 1905, Mukden. The Führer is thanking Joseph Burkel on the occasion of the Saar victory on the morning of 15 January 1935, photo taken by Eva Braun. Polish-American parade westbound on Augusta Boulevard, Chicago, Illinois, May 3, 1942. Mods on scooters ride down the streets of England, Hastings, England, 1964. Susanna Hoffs, 1986. Linda Carter, from the 1980s, as Wonder Woman. Halloween costumes of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Madsen raises his hat on greeting Barbara Carlson in Santa Monica, California. 1932. Albert Einstein and Marie Sklodowska-Curie reminiscing by a lake in 1929. The Austrian president inspects troops. L-335 tankettes are in the foreground. 1936. The Black Jewish community of Harlem, 1940s. Ernest Hemingway at his home with his cat in 1954. Johnny Depp with Kate Moss in 1994. Cindy Crawford in Hawaii, 1988. A man marches in a candlelight vigil for those lost to the AIDS epidemic. Los Angeles, California, May 30, 1987. Senator John F. Kennedy stands on the hood of a truck to acknowledge the cheers of thousands who greeted him in a garment workers' rally in downtown Los Angeles on November 1, 1960. Nazi archaeological team in Tibet, spending time with locals, trying to find origins of the Aryan race, led by Ernst Schaefer, 1938-1939. An unidentified African-American demonstrator crouches for protection against blows from a white man in front of a segregated Nashville restaurant on May 1, 1964. Nick Offerman's senior class photo from 1988. He was not only the president of the senior class, but he was also the president of the Drama Club, a saxophonist in the jazz band, and voted most likely to host the David Letterman show. Meryl Streep high school photo, 1967. Crowd of men at employment office desk. The Great Depression, 1929-1940. Visitors must not snore, 1926. Penelope Cruz in the 90s. Policemen tangle with demonstrators at a subway station on the opening day of the New York World's Fair, 1964. Youths attempted to stall the train, which was headed from the city to the fairgrounds, as a form of protest on behalf of civil rights for blacks. The knife grinder would travel large distances. He could sharpen all sorts of blades, which were not limited to knives. He had his grinding wheel in his handcart, and he drove it with a treadle system operated with his foot. 1895. Stilt dancers from Landys walk through London on their way to a performance at the Albert Hall, 1937. Rope climb in gym class, elementary school, early 70s. Arnold Schwarzenegger walking about Munich, Bavaria to promote his gym in 1967. Punched card storage at the United States National Archives and Records Administration, 1950s. One punch card holds approximately 80 bytes of information. Each box contains 2,000 punch cards, or 160 KB. German learns a French girl how to ride a bike, France, 1940. A Lucky P-47 and its pilot from World War II. Pictured. The 19-year-old Edwin Lucky Wright after his 39th combat mission. Elderly Civil War veterans playing cards together, 1930. Charlie Chaplin in 1915. Linda Twardowski, a recent Citrus graduate, explained the basics of diaper changing in a childcare class using her son Charles. The girls also were taught prenatal care, cooking, and budgeting. 1971. Albert Einstein's Social Life, 1931, Berlin. Nancy Allen, 1980. A man is examining rental dentures in 1940. The Great Sphinx of Giza before and after excavation. Ancient Roman helmet worn by the elite Roman cavalry, Equites Romani 2,000 years old. Breaker boys employed by the Pennsylvania Coal Company, 1911. Dermoscope that was used to highlight every blemish and wrinkle by blasting a light at the patient. Kim Basinger and Robert Redford, 1985. Gwen Stefani yearbook photo. Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec as artist and model. Maurice Guibert, c. 1900. Marilyn Monroe, 1946. Gilmore Oil's Gasateria, one of the first self-serve gas stations in Los Angeles, 1948. A little girl gives a confident look while posing with her pushcar and doll, 1890s. A German mascot dog from World War I, 1910s. Hennebont milk cellar, Brittany's countryside in the early 1900s. German prisoners of war clear rubble in post-war Stalingrad, 1947. PSA flight attendants, 1960. Marilyn Monroe is in line for a hot dog in New York in 1957. Arnold Schwarzenegger poses for Mr. America magazine in 1969. Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong on the recording of their second album together, Ella and Louis Again. Rick Astley's father, Ossie Astley, celebrated Never Gonna Give You Up, making it to #1 on the United Kingdom charts in 1987. Courtney Cox on a Motorcycle, 1987. Mark Twain eating breakfast, 1890s. Group of ladies protest busing for African Americans in front of kids who just arrived at PS 204, 82nd Street and 15th Avenue, New York, 13th of September, 1965. Halle Berry, 1998. Chinese examination stalls post 1905 photo. There's an Arikara warrior named Bear Belly in North Dakota in 1908. "11-year-old Jimmy McKinn was abducted in early September 1885 by Geronimo. When the Indians were briefly captured in March 1886, Jimmy bitterly resisted being returned to his family, wanting to stay among the Apache." Sherilyn Fenn and Kyle MacLachlan, 1990. A workman lies atop the 11-foot arm of Mercury, part of the statuary at Grand Central Station, New York City, around 1910. Carpenter Henry Johnson doesn't seem too concerned about his clutch of prehistoric companions at the Sinclair Oil exhibit in the World's Fairgrounds, New York City, February 19, 1964. Lithuanians replacing the Soviet hammer and sickle with the Lithuanian Vitus national symbol after Lithuania declared independence from the Soviet Union, March 1990. Jennifer Love Hewitt, 1998. Roman Polanski with producer Gene Gutowski and actress Catherine Deneuve in London during the filming of Repulsion, 1964. Carlos Ray Chuck Norris, 1960s United States. Roger Moore with some friends on the set of For Your Eyes Only, 1981. A portrait of a German soldier on the Eastern Front holding his battle-damaged helmet, 1943. Furby, the 1990s. Opening of a McDonald's restaurant on Arbat Street, Moscow, 1993. Beastie Boys in the East Village in 1987. Brothers Mads and Lars Mikkelsen, 1990s. Elijah Wood and Leonardo DiCaprio at the 1994 Oscars. A nun skiing at a ski resort in Italy in 1975. The German battleship Gneisenau in the Kiel dock after a torpedo attack by a British submarine, World War II. Producer Albert S. Ruddy confers with Marlon Brando on set of The Godfather, 1971. Natalie Portman, yearbook photo. Boys standing at attention for the funeral of a Civil War veteran who was the last member of the Grand Army of the Republic, 1956. Kate Bush, 1980. Gas station bomber from an Oregon service station, circa 1947. The cast of National Lampoons and Vacation, 1983. American actor Roger Moore in Venice, 1979. The duel between King Juan Carlos of Spain and King Constantine II of Greece in 1966. Smoke rises from burning buildings on the waterfront during the fire after the earthquake of 1906 in San Francisco, California. Crowds outside the Bank of United States in New York City after its failure in 1931. NBA players Manute Bol and Muggsy Bogues, 87. A Mickey Mouse race during the Mickey Mouse Club Sports Day, Guildford, 1938. ODB of the Wu-Tang Clan writing in the studio, 1992. South Korean women weep as they listen to President Syngman Rhee speak at a memorial service in Seoul, October 17, 1953. The service honored the 33,964 South Koreans killed in the last year of the war. Whitney Houston yearbook photo. Shirley MacLaine, 1958. Natalie Wood in the 1950s. A military police officer posts Civilian Exclusion Order No. 1, requiring evacuation of Japanese living on Bainbridge Island, Washington, circa 1942. Brigitte Bardot celebrating her 22nd birthday, 1956. Miners 850 feet deep in the Hubert Mine, Nevadaville, Colorado, 1895. The Colossi of Memnon are giant stone statues of Pharaoh Amenhotep III, Egypt, 1910. Anita Ekberg and Mara Corday photographed by Bruno Bernard, 1955. The hand-constructed Explorer vehicle made by the Astrogeology branch of the United States Geological Survey is field-tested in June 1967 on an extremely blocky lava flow just west of Hanks Trading Post near Flagstaff, Arizona. Tourists at Old Faithful in Yellowstone, 1901. A 1970s couple disco dancing on roller skates under a mirrored ball, dressed in the era's trendiest styles. A man from Mazin, which is now Arkhangelsk Oblast, Russia, in 1927. Ben Chapman on the set of Creature from the Black Lagoon, 1954. All right, scrubbing down the neighborhood in Baltimore around the 1950s. Cameron Diaz, 1995. Leonardo DiCaprio and his family, 1976. (1905) Cadillac and early Oldsmobile at Rosenwald Museum, Chicago, Illinois, November 15, 1945. Mr. Rogers on the set of The Incredible Hulk in 1980. Arnold Schwarzenegger meeting his fans in Moscow, 1988. The Grable test, featuring the atomic anti-artillery piece used to fire the warhead, 1953. Truman Capote, 1950s. Skylab 3 mission pilot Jack R. Loosma towels off after a vacuum-sealed shower in Skylab's orbital workshop, 1973.